Hello everyone, welcome to Wrestling Royalty. I am of course Andy, and it's been a little while since I've done a stream. I've been away on holiday, but no worries, I am back and we are going to be going straight into one of the big subjects of the last few weeks, which is John Cena has been and gone from WWE for what they kind of are billing as potentially the last time, but we're going to get into it. We'll find out what my thoughts are and also what Sam's thoughts are. I'm going to bring him in just after the intro. I've already seen a comment that's come in, by the way. I feel like I should have started this with the kind of Paul Heyman doing John Cena's intro, doing the... So I'll do it to introduce Sam himself. So do the... Sam Smith!
Hustle, loyalty and respect and all that stuff.
How are you doing, man? How's it going?
I'm all right. Busy. How was the Sunshine State?
Very good, yeah. Very difficult to acclimatise when you land back into Manchester and it's about 3 degrees and pouring with rain when you've come away from 31 degrees. But very, very nice. Mickey says hello and sends his regards. But yeah, back to reality now and back to the wrestling as well. But how are you? How's things been going?
A bit crazy the past couple of weeks. I think like I haven't had a day off and since like Sunday was my last day off, but before that I couldn't tell you when it was. So it's all been a bit crazy, really. I feel like everything with Deserto, WrestleSphere, and Gimme Your Whole Yeah has kind of been keeping me busy. But that's what happens when you accept 3 separate jobs. So, but there you are. I've got no complaints.
When your jobs are passions like yours are as well, it's you never work a day in your life.
Very true. Although tell that to me, my exhaustion. But I know what you mean.
Very true. Here on the Grapevine as well, you've got a lovely weekend planned as well. This weekend, you're going to be pampering yourself.
Yeah, going. I can't bloody wait. Like come Friday night. That's why I'm not doing SmackDown Friday night. I'm going to be going to the Swan Hotel and Spa in Newby Bridge in the Lake District. Jess and I are basically going to spend a day in that spa, have some yummy food, have some cocktails, have some Prosecco, have some champagne, and just reset. I'll also be having an hour-long massage, which I can't bloody wait for. But there you go.
I like that started out as like some weird version of a Mick Foley like cheap pop where you were just like full on right here in the Swan.
Oh, I just can't wait. I've been there a few times. It's dead good. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm plugging the Swan now on a wrestling podcast, but that's never happened before.
Well, what has happened before is many a times people have talked about John Cena, but we haven't really spoken about John Cena too much as he's on or finished now about an 8-week run back in the company, and he's back into Hollywood. The writer's strike is over, the actors' strike is over, so he himself has gone back to a lot of the projects he was doing before his run over the sort of autumn or fall, if you're American. Season. So yeah, it was nice to have him back. So I did pose a couple of questions and that's what we're going to go delve into today. Excuse my rustiness, as I say, it has been about, I think this is 3 or 4 weeks since I've been going back into it. So yeah, use any fumbles. I'm not used to talking too much. I just kind of crack on. I'm back into my running, so I don't have to talk to anyone to do that. So anyway, thank you for being here. If you haven't already and you're watching this live, or if you're watching this in the future, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, really help us out. We're going to be pushing for the subscribes all the way through till Christmas, and then we're going to keep on going into the new year as well. There's a lot of things we'll be plugging throughout, whether that's WrestleSphere, whether that's Gimme a Whole Yeah, loads of great content on both those channels, and of course, loads of great content here. Even if I can't talk, I can write. You can also see my writing over on rushonrock.com. There is an accompanying piece about John Cena. So if you don't want to watch this, or you do want to watch this and you want to hear a bit more about my thoughts and feelings on it in maybe a bit more descriptive way, go check out that article on rushonrock.com. There's a beautiful feature that I named Ruthless or Toothless Aggression in terms of this his latest run. So the questions I posed is John Cena finished with wrestling? Will we ever see him in a wrestling ring again? And was his return a success or a disappointment? So, bearing in mind, you have actually covered a lot of SmackDown, which is where he made the majority. I'm going to ask you the last question. Do you think John Cena's return was a success, or were you disappointed?
I think it was a success. I think it was exactly what they set out to do. I think it's exactly what he set out to do. Like, there might be aspects of it a couple of people didn't like, but for me, it was a total success, and I can even tell you why.
Well, you tell us why.
Right, because I'm just going to shut this blind because my cat's trying to get in. After me calling him for about an hour, now he decides just to tie. It's
he just waited for the camera, wasn't he?
Been coming in half an hour. Yeah. So look, Cena has a heritage, has a reputation, has a past with the whole Super Cena thing. You're crushing the Nexus, keeping people down. Go and watch that Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse match, and that pretty much gives you a very nice fourth wall breaking character assassination of John Cena's probably very real worst aspects. And Cena, as we all know, is a very, very nice guy in real life. But when he was younger, he might, the golden shovel theory, things like that. There's no smoke without fire. Yeah. Some of that might have been true. In fact, that was the business back then. So yeah, it probably was. And I think as Cena is a bit older and a bit wiser, and no longer quite needs to be in that spot, he's going out of his way to help others and to create more stars. Because all Cena needs to do is have a match with you to put you over. All Cena needs to do is say your name, come out with you, got a promo with you, be on a show with you. And so if you're winning a match against him, he has selected you. He has chosen to do this. He doesn't do anything he doesn't want to do. Do you remember when he wouldn't go to Saudi Arabia? He will now. But back during the whole Khashoggi thing, you couldn't get that boy on a plane. Right now, John is his success. His last run was a success because it was all about getting Solo Sikoa noticed. We know Roman Reigns is a star. We know the Usos are stars. I know they're going out on their own to see how that works out at the moment, but they'll ride again. Of course they will. Solo Sikoa is the wild card. He's been the silent and strong enforcer for a while, but he's got star power, and they're going about that by making him the next Umaga, but an Umaga we can actually take seriously, and smashing John Cena brutally in the ring with all those Samoan spikes and standing over his mangled corpse is a great way of doing it. Like, we all thought this was going to be John Cena conquering his losing streak, and everyone thought he was going to win because Solo is the least important member of the bloodline. But no, I knew Cena was losing here because, like, in the same way I knew he was losing at WrestleMania, because he's trying to help them make stars. That is what he's committed to do now. Cena doesn't need the win. Will he get another win and end this losing streak soon? Yeah, probably. But right now, what was important was making Solo like a vicious monster for the inevitable end of his storyline with Roman Reigns. That's what's going on here. It's setting up Solo for when he inevitably comes out of Roman Reigns' shadow, and it's Roman Reigns who's brutally getting spiked in the middle of the ring, and it is inevitable.
Oh. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, and part of that is we need to click on, where is it? This one. This comment from Dean. You mentioned there about kind of putting people over was the initial sort of opening gambit, I guess, as you were saying there, and I think it's important to address that because there has been a lot of criticism from not just fans but people that he's worked with in the past as well, that John Cena has the power to get out his golden shovel, similar to Triple H, and if he doesn't want you to go anywhere, then John Cena can bury you. He's addressed as much in promos in the past as well, but this was a year where he kind of put sort of in terms of, if you try and level that at him, he can hold up 2023 and say, really, you're going to still say that about me after he had a match with Austin Theory and really like put Theory over, because it was, yes, Theory kind of had a bit of a sneaky win, but it did a lot for Theory in the sense of just working with him, as you say.
There's even some cynicism in that we could actually like. I'm not so sure Cena is doing it just to fix his reputation and his legacy. I also think he's doing it because he realizes the business needs it. Now, sorry, you were saying. That's just my view.
Absolutely. I think that there's definitely a few things in terms of that. There's a discussion to be had on another night where we can talk about, have we seen the last of a superstar era? Like, will we ever see a superstar be the face? Because there's an argument to say that Roman Reigns is kind of the face, but he's not around too much. So not on the degree of The Rock or Stone Cold or John Cena. So was John Cena the last big star that they've created, and will, you know, be kind of multi-generational, multi-platform, etc.? And I think the answer is kind of shown by the fact he has to come back, and the fact that they've had The Undertaker come back and they've had Stone Cold come back, and they're kind of drip feeding it in. But I don't know if they want that, but certainly he seems like the last of that kind of generation of superstars. I know they're all called superstars, but in terms of mega, or the GOAT, as they call him as well. So Theory, Solo Sikoa, even to the extent where he had a win in a tag team match with LA Knight, and he was the special guest referee for the Miz and LA Knight, and that whole thing seemed to be about making sure LA Knight's star was well and truly rising, because we'll put John Cena behind him. We'll make sure everyone knows that John Cena believes in this guy. And, so there's another example that this whole thing seems to be, this whole run seems to be John Cena, and how can we push the next generation, the new generation. NXT, he appeared on NXT for the first time ever. And not only did he push behind Carmelo Hayes, he also had an in-ring sort of altercation with Bron Breakker. He had a backstage thing with Trick Williams. So he's done a lot of work in the sense of, like, I'm going to use my star to shine a little bit of light on other people. So again, I'm completely in agreement with you in the sense of that was what it was for. That's what he did. He had 8 weeks to try and build as many people as he could, and go through the list of what he's done, and throw in Austin Theory from WrestleMania. Maybe he didn't go the way that people wanted to go in the company, but they've also now got Grayson Waller who can kind of fill that as well. So we have the Grayson Waller stuff and Money in the Bank. So there really is a long list of people in 2023 that John Cena has tried his best to give them a little bit of a rub, and it's nice that he's using his star to do that. However, the next question I'll ask you is, what does that do for John Cena moving forward?
Right. So I think he's going to take a bit of a break, go back and catch up, work on some projects. But this is my opinion, but retirement in wrestling is meaningless. It's meaningless. Like, even the people who should have stayed retired and well, in Earth One, they did. Like, I know there's a parallel universe where Shawn came out of retirement with Triple H to face The Undertaker and Kane in Saudi Arabia. But it's a good job. It's a good job we're not in that universe, isn't it? Earth 2 can have that. But anyway, retirement means nothing. Just ask Ric Flair. So ask Sting, dare I say, or who might actually be done this time. But John Cena will be associated with WWE until he's a very old man. That is the way it is. Providing he hopefully lives a long life and WWE stays around forever, Cena is going to be part of this company till the day he dies, and that's okay. Now, he might go away properly. He might have a retirement angle, but even after that, some years pass, and a much more grey and grizzled Cena will come back for something. So, is this the last time we've seen Cena? No, absolutely not. That is not how you send off John Cena. And when you do send off John Cena on his Shield in a more retirement angle, you will know about it, because WWE are going to hit us over the head with it for months and months afterwards. So, and they've not done that here. Also, there's a couple of other things have happened. When Cena lost to Bray Wyatt and was deleted from time and space, They could have ended it there. That would have been incredible. I know some people hate that and hated that match, but for me, I kind of liked that because it addressed head on. It was a scathing character assassination that broke kayfabe, but in an okay kind of way. And then there's the match with Roman Reigns, very important, where Roman Reigns beat him. And after the match, Cena was kind of like, is this it? And even kind of like tapped on the LCD boards as he went, as if to say, look after her, Roman. I'll leave her with you now. It was BS. Like, there was no way that was going to be the last we saw of him, but they wanted us to think it. And I'm fine with that. It's TV, it's storytelling. Keep doing it, WWE. But ask me this question in 10 years, Andy, and I'm still going to say no. If you ask me, is this the last time we've seen John Cena? I'm going to say no again. I'm never going to give you a yes to that question because he'll never be done. Never truly, even after he properly retires.
We've got Daniel Wiley in. Hey, Daniel, how's it going? I hope you're having a good Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. But yes, I tend to agree. There's also, they've left a sort of carrot dangling, I guess, with the whole, it's been over 2,000 days since I've had a television win. It doesn't feel befitting of someone that they are announcing to the ring as the GOAT. So it definitely feels like there's a bigger story at play. And obviously John Cena can kind of use his acting skills where he was looking a bit forlorn after losing. There we go. So very much a case of like, oh, is this it? Kind of shaking hands with people, looking a bit, like a little bit down and looking back at people saying like, and kind of insinuating this is the end. But I genuinely just can't believe that this would be the angle that they finish his story on. I said as much in the article that I wrote, and I kind of feel like maybe it's one of those ones where he goes, I'm going to go away for a while, and then when I come back, maybe he does something along the lines of, I'm going to put everything on the line for one last title charge to get that record, because if I'm going to go out, I want to go out giving it everything. They give him that sort of like that story of, will he be able to do it on his final one? Most people probably think, oh, well, he's kind of talked about retirement, so it'll be done. But there's always that thing in the back of your head is like, it's WWE, anything can happen. He might get that last title win, and he might just kind of do like one last little run with a title. And I think that'd be a great way to say, I'm going to put my career on the line in the chance of getting a world title and winning that record. And then either way, he goes out on his shield, because he either wins the title or he goes out putting someone over who ended his career, and you give that to someone that it actually means something. Do it the way that the Undertaker streak should have meant something in the long run. There's arguments either side of that, but if Cena is going to go out, I think it can't be in Saudi Arabia to Solo Sikoa in that fashion. It just can't be. It's got to be a big build. I want to see one of the best promos that WWE's ever done in terms of a pre-match, like sort of video to lead in. It's what he deserves. It is what he would need. And this wasn't it. This was how can we put other people over? The story wasn't John Cena going out like that. So when it happens, you'll know it's happening. And for me, and by the sounds of you, Sam, this wasn't it. But let us know in the comments. Do you think John Cena's done? Do you think he'll come back? We've got a couple. Daniel reckons he could be back at the Royal Rumble. That would be quite early on. Like in terms of November 22nd would be 2 months away from the Royal Rumble. We could see it. Randy versus Cena Mania. Well, yeah, Randy Orton is coming back on Saturday night for Survivor Series. We will tell you where you can kind of keep up to date with Survivor Series going on. At the end of this video, we'll be doing a little bit of plugging for that side of things. Dean has been a little bit of a tease. Punk versus Cena Survivor Series. I don't think that would be the most bizarre thrown together. I think if they were going to do that, they would definitely be advertising the hell out of it everywhere.
Yeah, could you imagine? I mean, no, I'm sorry, guys. Everybody who thinks they're seeing CM Punk on Saturday night, you might need to temper your expectations. But anyway, and I've said that to some of my best friends. So, but.
Anyway,
we'll
get into it. I promise. We'll kind of talk for the next.
Do we have to?
about John Cena, but we'll very briefly touch on Survivor Series and where there's more of a forum to talk about it, because it won't pain Sam to be missing that particular chat. But yeah, really happy to see a couple of people in. Beyond the Play, bonjour from Paris. Love this channel. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Nice.
And thank you for joining us. Again, hope you're having a lovely Wednesday. But yeah, we've also, friend of the show, Dean, is in from Scenescape Shop. Go check out his YouTube channel. He has very regularly been putting on some content on there in terms of you can watch some very relaxing painting videos. You can see him hard at work doing his videos, and he talks along and tells you what he's doing while he's creating art that you can then go buy on occasion, or he might be putting something on for one of his commissions. Either way, grab yourself a cup of coffee, go subscribe to Scenescape Shop. It's a great channel, especially if you're into your sort of like nice chilled out content where he doesn't get into any hardcore debates like we might do on this channel, so you can get the best of both worlds. Daniel has said, I think Damien tries to cash in on Seth but fails at the end of the match. Randy echoes Seth at the end, set his sights on the heavyweight title. Very interesting theory, Daniel. I promise we'll get to Survivor Series stuff in a few minutes. John Cena in the future, how long do you think he's going to be away though, Sam, this time?
See, I kind of like Daniel's thing with the Royal Rumble. I think we can't have nice things. So I think what's going to happen is we might see Cena at Mania get his win back. I think some eating heel will deserve a telling off, and Cena will be the guy to give it them. And that'll be when he just gets his win back. So I predict Mania at the earliest now. However, I could be wrong. We might see him in the next few weeks, but I do think they need to let the loss breathe for a while. But we'll see, because it still needs to be on people's minds when they bring him back. That loss, that moment, it still needs to be relevant, and it might not be by Mania. So it won't be surprised me if they brought him back actually quite soon. And kind of did something storyline related that might then start the build to Mania. And the Rumble is actually a good shout. But anyway, long term, I kind of like the idea about John not turning heel, but you've heard me fantasy book this insecure old man Cena a few times. This is just one theory I've got, and I like the idea about Cena, chasing the title. I've got to get to that record. And then, him getting more and more and more anxious, more and more, maybe playing dirty to win because he's got to get there. But he still thinks he's the hero. He still thinks he's the babyface. You love me, don't you, Cena? Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks, all of that. Yeah. But what he doesn't realize is he's now the bad guy in this story. And then when he loses, he goes, oh my God, I was the bad guy in that story. I was so desperate to win. And the story becomes he isn't the guy who breaks the record. He should be, but he's not. And that's just one theory. But I have another theory, which is fast forward to maybe not this WrestleMania, but maybe the Mania after. We've got a Cody Rhodes decorated in his championship who says, do you know what? As a great man once said, you're not the guy until you beat the guy. And there's only one guy around here that I'm thinking of. There's only one guy I've not beaten. And we need to do this at WrestleMania. John Cena, you and me, WrestleMania. And that could be his retirement match, because Cody is the guy the lights are shining on at the moment for the face, if you like. LA Knight to a point, but I think with LA Knight, it's going to be a bit like Sami Zayn and a bit like Kofi Kingston. I think it's going to be a big deal for 12 months and then slowly peter out, where he's still going to be a big star like Kofi is, like everybody else. But I do think longevity-wise, Cody's the guy. From a marketing point of view, whoever else. But yeah, so I either predict an old man, frustrated Cena, trying to get to that point. Maybe he gets there, maybe he doesn't. Or like the idea of someone like LA Knight or Cody Rhodes going, I'm not who I need to be until I've gone through you. And him needing, because he's done that too with The Undertaker and other people. So those are my two pitches, if you like, for Cena's next interesting main run. Quite where they go from here, I'm not sure, but I do think he's getting that win at some point. He's going to lose that because he's in Curtis Axel territory right now.
I do wonder if there's a possibility he'll go down the route of. Do you remember the famous Mark Henry pink salmon suit where he fakes out that he's going to retire, and it was John Cena that he kind of destroyed, wasn't it? I wonder if there's a way of doing it in the sense of John Cena's set up in the ring to say, look, I told you before I needed that win. I didn't get it, but I think it's time. And as he goes to kind of do it, whoever he goes in with next is the person that he can feud with for his last time, no matter who that is. But in the sense of like, he can just basically be like, it is time, guys. Like, I'm getting old. Obviously, like it's a young man's game, etc., and kind of put over his loss to Solo to say Solo was better on the night. I haven't been able to speak, blah blah blah. But now I think it's important that I've taken a little bit of time away, and I realise I've got to hand it over to the next, and then bring out whoever it is who's going to be the heel in that way. But the other option is they hinted at a little bit of kind of beef between him and LA Knight. Like, things weren't always 100% copacetic. So I wonder if there's a way of that might be a Mania match for next year, Cena versus LA Knight.
Certainly could be. That'd be one where they could do the old man Cena, the irritated. I'm the hero, though, guys, aren't I?
They could, but they could also use it as the way to say, LA Knight, if he doesn't go on to do anything in the next few months, then Cena can kind of turn around and say, I stood in front of the world and told people repeatedly that you were going to be the guy. You were the guy I could get behind, and you've done nothing. And then he can kind of go in on a little bit and make LA Knight really kind of resent the fact that this is John Cena and he's here to bury me and blah, blah, blah. And the two of them could have fantastic promos in the build-up. But again, we know that John Cena is a busy guy. I pointed out some of the stuff that he's been in as an actor, you can't really take it away from him. He's been in the Fast and Furious franchise. He's been in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. He's been in quite a few like big movies now. Transformers with Bumblebee movie that he was in. He's picking up some decent stuff, so he's gonna be busy. The news broke that he'd filmed and everything was edited, ready for the Wile E. Coyote movie that was kiboshed by Warner Brothers. That's apparently going to get picked up by someone now because of the transfer. So, this is a guy who is desperate to get into it. He's in the DC universe as Peacemaker.
Brilliant. He's so good in that role as well. As I said, one idea they could do with that, your idea there is when someone interrupts him, this could be fun, is I think he's on unfinished business with Grayson Waller as well. Yeah. I think that kind of started at Money in the Bank where you and I were in the building, and that was great fun. Yeah. And that Daniel's idea of Breaker versus Cena, actually, now I'm kind of forgetting all my pitches, and I kind of want that. But
they started that on NXT.
They did, but I love the idea of Waller coming out, giving him all this, you lost, and him going, right, you want to see a golden shovel? Bitch, you're going to see a golden shovel. And then he just annihilates him and squashes him, because it's still okay for him to squash a heel. It's still okay for him to do that. He's given a lot now to a few other heels.
And someone like Grayson Waller can take that as well.
Exactly, because the whole Grayson Waller's job right now is to get beaten up by the good guys. So that I'd like to see, just Cena just losing his rag and just golden and being like, right, you wanted, like, I'd love it for Waller to mention, remember the days of the golden shovel, John? Remember those days? And him being like, right, you bleached blonde Hawaiian shirt wearing swine, I'm going to rip you. And then just ripping him apart. Him do to Waller what The Undertaker did to him at Mania. That would be great. Just a couple of minutes.
If you're going to do that, you've got to do that Elimination Chamber in Australia, because it'd be really interesting to see what the fans do there.
Yeah, that'd be great. See, Daniel Wiley is making trouble in the comments, saying me versus Senior at Mania. I don't think I'm quite on Senior's radar, Daniel, but it'd be nice if I was. But also, mate, like I think he follows me on Twitter, though. That was nice. However, also, I don't think I'm going to be at Mania next year, mate. So maybe a long time until I might need to start a wrestling career before I do that. My brother-in-law said that to me the other day. He goes, "Do you ever fancy, like, getting involved yourself?" It's like, mate, I'm 36 this weekend.
You might
Ship has sailed, mate. Ship has
you
sailed.
might be a little bit too old for the wrestling school that you went to as well, unfortunately.
You'd be surprised. They actually do have an over 18s one as well. Oh, I'll just quickly plug that. I know you're probably going to save some space to the end, but yeah. So this week I was in Blackpool at Rascals Wrestling Academy for Kids, and I was absolutely blown away by what they can do. I saw I think he was a 10-year-old boy or 11-year-old boy work a match against AJ Grimm, who's an adult and a rather large adult. And it was just great. Like, obviously, there were moments where Grimm was helping young Vacay, but that was a better match than some I've seen on TV this year. I'm just going to say that right now. So yeah, if you want to have your cockles warmed, go and read. That isn't dirty, by the way. It just means get a nice warm and fuzzy feeling. Go and read that article, and basically, like, wrestling not only is wrestling for everyone, but my God, it blew me away. And I'm gonna in December, I'm gonna go and see their next show, their proper pay-per-view Christmas show, and I can't wait. I might even bring Jess. And Rishab's here. Hi, Rishab.
Sam, you are bringing in the ratings. You're bringing in the viewers. Shout out to Sam. You can definitely come again. But we are going to wrap up the John Cena side of things because, as I say, this has been a short sort of 8 weeks for him. But I would just say, give me a rating out of 10, Sam, in terms of what you've rated this run for John Cena to finish this off. And then we'll take some questions that have been coming up about Survivor Series and a couple of other ones that have come through, like Beyond the Play. We'll answer those very shortly. But give me, out of 10, what do you think of John Cena's return for these past few weeks?
Just before I do, I'm just going to acknowledge Daniel because he said it twice. Gunther versus Cena, mate. I want to see that too, but I think I want Cena to get his win back before he gets flattened by Gunther because I don't want to see Gunther lose to anyone ever. But there we are. And with the Logan Paul stuff beyond, I'm actually not sure.
We'll cover that in a second.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, Andy. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, and that's because of what he's done for other people, I'm presuming.
Yeah, I think it's he's one of the nicest guys on the planet. I think he cares about the business. He could have just buggered off and sat on a beach somewhere. He's not done that. He's giving back. Does he probably feel a little bit of guilt for when he was younger? But he had to fight for everything he has. He had. So we all know the stories. So we can forgive him for that. We can forgive him for the golden shovel, and he wouldn't be the first. That's what the business creates. It's not a reflection on you. So in terms of this, I think it was a 9 because it did everything that it was supposed to do. Cena was never supposed to be the big star here. He was supposed to help other guys get their stars to rise. This was never about him, and he did that. And so I'm giving him a 9 because I'm not going to give it a 10 because 10 suggests perfection, and nothing is ever really perfection. But I've got zero complaints about this John Cena run. It was exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah, I would go somewhere similar, maybe an 8. I think there was a lot of fantasy booking that went on when he announced he was going to be there for an extended time, and maybe there was a few things like there's money on the table, which is actually a good thing because if he'd come back and it had been John Cena flattening all the new people and then kind of like putting himself over, etc., then that would have been horrific. But what's happened here is people are probably more invested in John Cena, the guy, because he's said, I need a win. I need to do this. He's hinted a couple of times at retirement. It's one of those things where people will start to have it planted in their brain. He's not got that long left in terms of his wrestling career. We should enjoy it while it's still here. Enjoy every moment. I think this has been probably for him, the moment where he comes out and people are singing his theme song, whether it's at Crown Jewel, whether it was in NXT. But this is probably the first time it's been 99% pro Cena in a long time. So I think it's really nice for him on a personal level to get that kind of adulation because the pops every week were incredible. So love to see it. As a Cena fan who sat at WrestleMania weekend when he was in against The Rock, and everyone else in the bar was going chanting for The Rock, and I was going, "Let's go Cena." It's always great to see John Cena, and the pop and Money in the Bank this year was absolutely incredible, and will live in my favorite wrestler moments because no one was expecting that.
Yeah, it wasn't. We weren't expecting to see him. I remember thinking I wasn't surprised when his music hit. I was very happy to see it. But yeah, that was I've experienced some big pops in my time. But yeah, that was pretty full. And the O2 is not a big place compared to like Mania and some of the and All In and some of that stuff. But
sometimes that helps because it keeps the noise in. And as I say, when he came out, I was like doing some filming on for the channel and stuff. And I had to stop recording because I swore a lot.
Well, the guy next to me at Money in the Bank, the guy next to me, he must have had a little look at my t-shirt and my hat, and he twigged who I was. He leaned into me and just went, "What a pop!" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, mate. Look, like he was a lovely guy. We've connected on Twitter, which is lovely as well. But he's but yeah, he was just like, do you feel that? And his girlfriend was there. I think he had dragged her a little bit, bless her. But she was like,
"Don't we all?" Right. Well, this seems like a perfect way to finish about talking about John Cena. Funny anecdote: I had a tooth extraction yesterday. Dentist phone rang mid-procedure. The ringtone, "You can't see me." I prayed for my life. Well, hopefully you're doing okay today. And if you're messaging now, I presume that you are okay. So that's a nice way to finish the John Cena stuff. And let's move on to.
I'll just respond to Rishab. Sorry, guys. Rishab, my wife discovered she has to have root canal in January. So she's a bit down today. But it's either that or lose the tooth. And there's no reality where she does that.
It could be worse. I had a root canal and lost the tooth eventually anyway. So
did you? Oh, that sucks.
Only one I've ever had issues with as well. So as I said, Survivor Series this Saturday, we are going to do a preview show on Friday evening at 9 p.m. So nothing too late again. But Sam, as you are from the Gimme a Hell Yeah channel as well as WrestleSphere, plug away, youngster, about where you can watch the build and actual watch along with Survivor Series.
Yeah, defo. And just to respond to you, Rishab, that was at All In, mate, when Sting came out to Metallica. That's what caused me to mark out, and it got caught on camera and became an embarrassment for me. But thanks for that, Dom. But anyway, yeah. You can catch. So you won't be able to catch me this week on SmackDown because I will be away with my wife. I will be away for Survivor Series as well. I won't be watching it until Sunday with a hangover. I can't wait. If Punk does arrive, I'll know about it by then. But yeah, so you can watch us on the Gimme a Hell Yeah podcast. It's Wednesday night, so Anthony Nayland will be going live with AEW Dynamite. So do please, if you like our channel, you like what me and Andy do, go and join the rest of our fraternity tonight with AEW Dynamite. Dan might be picking up SmackDown for me on Friday night because the guy just doesn't sleep. I think he's a vampire, but he's a sexy vampire like Lestat Leon Cole. So yeah, and then like there's WrestleSphere as well. So Gimme a Hell Yeah is us having a little bit of fun and marking out and discussing our opinions. Where WrestleSphere is where I take the hat off and I become a little bit more serious. WrestleSphere is a fully journalistic endeavor where we write features and we interview wrestlers from WWE, AEW, lots from TNA, lots from the British indie scene, and oh my lord, is there a lot of interviews coming up from the British indie scene soon? And Andy, I might have to rope you in to do one or two as well, mate, if you don't mind. So because I don't think I can do them all, and I wouldn't want to anyway because we wrote this team effort. But yeah, so yeah, that's WrestleSphere. That's it's part of SoundSphere, which is Dom Smith's music platform. We're also doing a lot of gaming stuff on there and a few other things these days. I have to kind of stay out of that because of my day job. I can write the occasional feature. But yeah, in terms of our wrestling content, join Ant tonight for AEW Dynamite because he by a mile is the most popular out of all of us. So and has the most committed viewers. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And we also have Dan and potentially his Snacks will be joining us on for the Survivor Series preview. And or you can get your snacks ready for his Survivor Series coverage as well on Saturday night. But yeah, join us Friday 9 p.m. I will put out as soon as possible the thumbnail, the reminder, etc. But please come join me where we'll go into a little bit more depth. But I know there's been a couple of questions and I'm really keen to make sure I address them as much as possible. We'll start with Beyond the Play, who said, how do you feel about Logan Paul and plans for the US title? I presume it's the US title when he asked that question, or they asked that question. Logan Paul, I was quite happy to see him win the title. It's great coverage and sort of highlighting WWE in his circle, which is a very big circle. Go have a look at how many followers he has on Twitter, how many subscribers he has on YouTube. The guy has a rabid following. So anything that can kind of highlight that within WWE as well. He's obviously got, is it Impulsive is what his podcast's called?
I'm too old to know that, mate, but
yeah,
I think so, yeah.
Millions of listeners. So it's going to highlight WWE to a whole new audience and generation. So I think it's a good thing. The guy can wrestle. Whatever you think about him as an actual person, you kind of take that to one side and you look at it from a perspective of Logan Paul, the sports entertainer, the WWE superstar. He's good, man. He is good. So
there's no getting away from it. There's no getting away from it. You can slag him off all you want. You can criticize him for whatever you want. Yeah. Name me a bad match. Point me to a match and tell me it was bad. Even one where Rey Mysterio's health was in jeopardy, he is still a good match. His professionalism may have saved the day if the two men are to be believed. And I think they are. Yeah. Why would they lie?
Well, he even said, like, he obviously does keep abreast a little bit in terms of how he's perceived on social media as well, because you get some people going, oh my God, he saved his life. And then he did know that some people have picked up and went, yeah, but he was kind of out of position. So it's a 50-50 thing, because that's quite an experienced head to be able to get back into position to catch him. You know, it shows that he keeps, his fitness wise, his strength wise, he's conditioned brilliantly, because he has to be pretty strong to catch him. I know there's a lot of kind of like give and take in wrestling, but if he wasn't in that position at all, things would have gone horribly wrong. So he can beat himself up from not being in position, but let's face it, what was that, his 6th, 7th match in WWE? Like, he has no business to be as good as he is. So I really can't kind of say anything about Logan Paul in terms of the actual wrestler, and I think he's going to do some great stuff. It looks like Grayson Waller has sort of challenged him already for elimination. So it would be interesting to see if they have a US title match where it would be heel versus heel, like two guys who would be happy to shit talk each other, basically. So
please do that. Please do that. Although I think he's such a great heel as well, Logan Paul. He's so good at being a dick. He's excellent at it. I don't know if he's as good as Grayson Waller, who is just born to it. But just one thing as well in Logan Paul's defense, the guy clearly as well has an eye to his partner's safety, and that says a lot. He's not just there for clout. He is keeping an eye out, make sure who he's wrestling with is all right, and not everybody does that. So
I'll get a lot of fans backstage, and let's face it, if you can get fans backstage, that would be half the battle, because if it gets around that you're an unsafe worker, then you'll be out of that company pretty quickly. But if it gets around that you're happy to always keep people safe, I know months ago Piper Niven did a spot where she managed to help one of the girls out as well, just purely because something hadn't gone quite right, and she was helping her through the match and saved her from injury. So, and Piper Niven's very well thought of backstage, so it wouldn't surprise me. The other thing, I would love to see Logan Paul move from here. He's on SmackDown, he's got the US title. Give me Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. That would be, for me, a great match to see and a great build as well. So would love to see that. Where are we? Daniel said, what are your feelings about Miz versus Gunther? They had a great back and forward on Monday night. I'm not sure about the Miz as a face. I just never fully buy it. What about you, Sam? What's your thoughts on what went down?
Look, the Miz is, again, I agree with the comment who said Miz doesn't get his flowers, because he does deserve more of them. Miz is great. He certainly belongs where he is in his position, and he's one of the best doing that position. You know, you can tell he watches a lot of Shawn Michaels. I know he's not Shawn Michaels in the ring, but on the mic and the way he does the squirrely heel, there's no one better really. But in terms of being a face, it never works. It never works. Miz is best at being Miz, and get rid of the Karate Kid outfit, bring him out in a suit, make him look sharp, and get beaten up after tearing someone down. Now, this whole Gunther thing, I don't think he's beating Gunther. Now, is Miz one of the other people that you think of when you think of the IC title in this era? Yeah, 100%. Will Miz hold that belt again one day? Yeah, 100%. He's not doing it this time. I think Gunther is holding that belt. From what I hear, and I've been wrong before, and they've been wrong before, but from what I hear, he's holding that all the way till SummerSlam. So get used to Gunther. It could be wrong, but that's what the plan was last time I got any kind of scoop. So there you go.
Yeah, I think Miz, from Dean's point here, I think Miz doing well is actually being in this feud and being part of this kind of bigger, because again, Miz has got to the stage now where he's kind of a gatekeeper in terms of like you have to go past the Miz to be able to to be someone, and maybe that bar is lower than it has been previously, but this reestablishes Miz back up. So we need him to get a little bit of a rub from Gunther here, which I think he is, before he probably gets annihilated. But one thing I was thinking the other day, Gunther has this innate ability to pull amazing matches out of people. We saw it when he got an amazing match with Braun Strowman, and that isn't something that, Braun Strowman is what he is. He's a very good monster. He doesn't have to do big showy matches, but Gunther got a great match out of him. Miz is no slouch. He can go. So I fully think this will be a great match, but we'll cover it in more detail with Dan on Friday as well. But yeah, it'd be really cool. Of course, the other thing that was mentioned on Monday, the big reveal, was we're going to get Randy Orton, the Apex Predator. I almost sounded like what's his name on commentary? I forgot. Wade Barrett. Randy Orton. Randy Orton. I'm excited to see the return of the Apex Predator at War Games. Me too.
Me too. I missed him terribly.
Yeah, never been like a huge Randy Orton fan, because I was such a big John Cena fan, and it was always when they were it was John Cena and Randy Orton. And for me, it was always with John Cena. But I do think over the kind of last few years, Randy Orton's really established himself as, I don't know, he's almost like he's really cool, and he's just got this kind of aura about him, and it would be really cool to have him back in as well. So it's nice to see a lot of people excited. What have we got else? We've got going down. Oh well, thank you very much for the sub as well. Means a lot. I think I just checked before, we're on about 102, so we're 100, and I promise before the year is up, I will do some sort of giveaway for people who watch the videos. I will send something out, but so keep your eyes peeled, and we'll do a giveaway at some point. Nice to see. There's a lot of people getting excited at the moment about it. Good to see. So yeah, it helps us in terms of we've got something to speak about. We've got Search Journal, which is my good friend Ben. I'm sure he's done wrestling tournaments before. His fame as well. Yeah, so I think that's in relation to Logan Paul, but I'm not 100%.
Yes, he has. He's done amateur wrestling. He does white collar boxing, and it is white collar boxing. People hate it when I say that, but it is. You're either a pro boxer, an amateur boxer, or if you're a civilian or a celebrity, you're a white collar boxer. So there you go.
Was that also known as YouTube boxing, which seems to be the big thing with KSI, etc.?
Yeah, the white collar boxing. Go ask a boxer what they think of YouTube boxing.
No, because I don't want to get punched in the face.
Yeah, no, they'll agree with you. You'll be putting them over, so they'll be fine with you. So I keep twiddling my hat tonight because my hair's growing to a point where it keeps popping out. It's annoying me. But yeah, I often find legit fighters, and he's a legit fighter, do a lot better coming to wrestling than wrestlers go to becoming legit fighters, unless your name is Brock Lesnar and the rules just do not apply to you.
Daniel says, who's going to win, Judgment Day or Team Cody? Right, I don't even want you to give me any background on this. I literally just want you to give me a team. Who's going to win?
Baby faces.
Okay. You're gonna have to tune in on Friday to find out what I think. Sam doesn't get to explain what he thinks, and I know that will kill him. But he is going to be in a spar, so f him. He doesn't get to say what he wants.
I'm more interested in damage control anyway, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to talk about that one on Friday. I think
awesome.
Jay goes up and gets in the face of Bianca or Charlotte. Very, very good possibility that we do see Jay Cargill on Saturday night. Maybe they'll do the thing where she sits ringside and they kind of focus on her being there, and people can kind of like just have a bit of a stare, etc. In terms of, I don't.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Depends on the outfit, mate. Depends on the outfit.
Matthew Lincoln. So is Cena officially retired? No. We talked about this earlier. No is the quick answer. I'm 99.9% sure we will, ironically, see him again. Daniel said, I wish Riddle was still here so we can have Riddle versus Orton.
Never say never. Never say never. He needs to sort his life out. When he's done that, when he's a little bit more organized and secure, bless him. We've all been there. I think he's been through a lot in recent years, overwhelming fame, a relatively nasty divorce, a couple of other issues. Matthew Riddle will ride again.
Conflicted, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's not a perfect person by any bloody stretch of the imagination, but he's also not a villain either. He's redeemable. We've had worse characters in WWE have come out the other side, and I'm rooting for Matt Riddle to one day return when the time is right.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't get to see it because it definitely felt like there was going to be a build between RK Bro and then eventually the sort of disintegration of them, because it was cool to see Randy really like enthused, similar to when we got Michael Cole was really like firing all cylinders when he had Pat McAfee on with commentary with him. Randy was the same when he was with Riddle because he kind of found someone a bit like on his level spiritually, and I'm sure they used to enjoy the time of 420 together a few times. I don't know what I'm saying.
Good things come to those who wait, Daniel. Good things come to those. Nothing is forever in wrestling. Nothing.
Beyond the play, again, in relation to Logan Paul, hey, I would not mess with him because I actually think like seeing some of his like punches that he throws, he could legitimately mess you up. And what we kind of take the mick and say is like, white collar or YouTube boxing, etc., is still more than I'll be prepared to do. So fair play to him. And also he makes billions off of Prime. He doesn't have to do wrestling. Like he does it because obviously he enjoys it. So again, he must be a fan, and more power to him for that. Professional boxer Tommy Fury has called out Roy Jones Jr. What I watch boxing. I couldn't say I'm a massive fan. I'll listen to it on stuff like TalkSport where they talk about it, but I enjoy catching up with it occasionally. But I couldn't say I'm a massive fan where I know the reasons why. I find a lot of it is probably what would I say here? As staged as some of UFC and WWE is as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But hey, again, if anyone's willing to step in the ring and sort of knock each other out, then fair play to them. That takes some guts. But we are wrestling royalty, so we talk about wrestling a lot, and we're going to be talking about it more on Friday, 9 p.m. Friday. We're going to be covering Survivor Series and the build up to War Games. There's always some of our sort of friends of this channel where we've got people like Scott over at Rebellious Noise Wrestling. I'm sure those guys will be doing some stuff. They're very busy, as is life. So if you want to know answers to the questions like Daniel's of who is winning the women's War Games match,
babyface,
tune in 9 p.m. on Friday to Wrestling Royalty, and you'll find out who myself and Dan from Give Me a Hell Yeah think is going to win the women's War Games match, who's going to win the other matches. We'll be covering every single match that's been announced, so join us then, and we might have a little bit of a discussion about some of the things while we're on as well. But we're going to wrap things up there, so I really appreciate Sam jumping on with me. I hope you have a great weekend. So let us know in the comments who do you think is going to be the person who John Cena faces next? Who do you think John Cena is going to go out against when he eventually does retire? Do you think he is going to come back, or is he actually done now? And this is all a giant waste of time speculating. But we'll leave it there. I will give you one final minute, Sam, if you'd like to plug anything else of the very busy stuff and busy life that you lead at the moment.
I'm going grey. That's why I'm going to a bloody spa. I might pop on Friday, like only in the comments, and say hello to you both. If I'm not, predisposed with some of the things that we discussed earlier on WhatsApp. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So guys, give me a haul. Yeah. Join Anthony tonight. Join Dan and Andy maybe on Friday after they do their stream. And there you go. I've just volunteered him to stay up till 3 a.m. and join us for Survivor Series as well, which Dan is definitely covering. And who knows if he'll be able to rope Anthony or Dom into it. That'd be cool. I might politic for that backstage now. And also check out what we've done on WrestleSphere this week. One final little thing about WrestleSphere. We also Dom and I went back to our university earlier this week. And we gave some opportunities to some journalism students who want to write about wrestling, gaming and music and stuff like that. So that was lovely that we got to kind of give back, and it felt weird to be on the other side of the chair. You know what I mean? They described me as an expert at one point. At least spat me coffee out. But there you go. And a professional expert. Get your head around that. But there you go. That's all I got.
Oh, no, you can just go on a YouTube channel and call yourself an expert.
I know. Yeah, well, the difference between me and every other.
That's 2023, isn't it?
Mate, the difference between you, me, and Dom, and all some of these other people on YouTube is we actually have done some work, and even Anthony and Dan have put the hours in and have got their professional blah-de-blahs. So there you go. Who can I slag off? I don't know who I'm even targeting. I can't think of anybody. But anyway, everybody I know is a bloody journo. There we go.
Oh. Anyway, thank you very much again, Sam, for joining us, and thank you for everyone who's been watching. Thank you for anyone who subscribed or liked. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, please. And if you're watching this in the future, it's still not too late. You can still hit that subscribe button. You can still hit that like button. But very much appreciate you taking your time to join both myself and Sam. As I say, join us on Friday, 9 p.m. There's also some content coming over on my other channel, Roller Coaster of Running. There'll be some of the videos from my time at Disney where I did some running there. So if you want to learn a bit more about myself and my experiences, go over to Roller Coaster of Running, check some of that stuff out as well. But until Friday night, I'm Andy. He's Sam. This has been Wrestling Royalty.